Lady was a happy little dog. She lived in a big house with Jim Deer and Darling. One day, Lady learned that Darling was expecting a baby. Lady didn't know that things in the house would soon be very different. One day, Lady met a scruffy dog named Tramp. Tramp had no home and no family. He went wherever he pleased and did whatever he pleased. Believe me, Tramp told Lady and her friends, Jock and Trusty, babies change everything. Now you'll have nothing but trouble. Just wait and see. But Tramp was wrong. When the baby arrived, Lady had one more wonderful person to care for and love. Several weeks later, Jim Deer and Darling went off on a trip. Aunt Sarah came to stay at the house. Lady, said Jim Deer, help Aunt Sarah take care of the baby. Aunt Sarah brought her Siamese cats with her. They made a lot of trouble. Lady barked at the cats, but it did no good. Shame on you, Lady, shouted Aunt Sarah, attacking my poor little angels. A muzzle is what you need. She took Lady right to the pet shop to buy one. The muzzle was more than Lady could bear. She had to run away. When Lady stopped to catch her breath, she was in a strange part of town surrounded by a pack of mean dogs. Just then, her friend Tramp appeared. Seeing that Lady was in danger, he fought the stray dogs and chased them off. You poor kid, said Tramp, looking at the muzzle. He took Lady to the zoo, where a friendly beaver chewed right through the muzzle and freed Lady. Afterwards, Tramp took Lady to visit one of his favorite places. They shared a romantic dinner for two at Tony's Italian restaurant. Finally, after a lovely stroll through the park, Lady said, I must go home. I promised Jim Deer I'd take care of the baby. Okay, Pigeon, said Tramp, but let's have some fun first. Tramp, no, said Lady, but Tramp had already rushed into a nearby yard to chase the squawking chickens. Suddenly, the dog catcher appeared. Before she knew it, Lady was on her way to the pound without Tramp. Lady was ashamed and scared in the pound, especially when the other dogs began to tease her. A dog named Peg came to Lady's rescue. Can't you see the poor kid's scared enough already? Peg said to the other dogs. The dogs were jealous because Lady had a shiny license and would soon be going home. When Lady finally came home, Tramp said, I'm sorry I got you into trouble, Pidge. But Lady was too angry to listen. She refused to speak to Tramp. Later that night, Lady saw a rat scurry up a vine to the baby's room. She barked as loudly as she could. When Tramp heard Lady barking, he came running. What's wrong, Pidge? He asked. When Lady told him about the rat, Tramp ran into the house and up the stairs. Lady pulled at her chain until it broke. Then she ran up to the baby's room to help Tramp fight the rat and save the baby. You vicious brutes, cried Aunt Sarah when she saw Lady and Tramp in the baby's room. Get away from the baby! Aunt Sarah called the dog catcher to come and take Tramp away. When Jim Deer and Darling came home that night, Lady helped Jim Deer find a dead rat. Lady, said Jim Deer thankfully, I think you and your friend were trying to save our baby from the rat. Meanwhile, Jock and Trusty went to find Tramp. They soon caught up with the dog catcher's wagon. Trusty began barking very loudly. So loudly, in fact, that he scared the horses. They reared up, and the wagon tipped over right onto poor Krusty. Trusty had a broken leg, but he would be just fine. Lady and Jim Dear arrived just in time to free Tramp. Jim Dear and Darling were so grateful to Tramp that they asked him to live with them always. By Christmas of that year, Lady and Tramp had 4 puppies, and the family's happiness was complete.